These simple tools really shift my mind and emotions. Is my physical body also being affected?
It is being affected, and it's affected in a number of ways, but the simplest one is if you think about walking around with "I'm not okay" as a mindset, or walking around in "I'm failing" or "I'm not doing okay" or "they're going to yell at me." And when you ask the question, how does your body feel when you're holding those thoughts and emotions in an electromagnetic alignment? The answer is it feels tense, it feels uncomfortable. Do you have a full range in joy and ease and lightness? No. And so what happens is the progression of disease, let's put it in those terms for a minute, is you're in that spiritual space in ease. And then somebody says something to you, mental body, that the rational mind goes, oh, this isn't good. And there begins to be a tightening up a little bit. Mental body immediately is kind of in, this isn't good. It's like dis, big hyphen, ease. That was not a good thing. But immediately you drop into the emotional body. And the emotional body goes, oh, this isn't good at all. And then the hyphen gets much smaller, ease. This isn't good. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get yelled at. I'm scared. If you live your life from those spaces, you don't ever clean it out and you just leave it in the backpack that you carry around, "I'm not okay." Have you ever been scared and all of a sudden you tighten up and then somebody says, "Oh, only kidding," and the body doesn't quite release to the point it was before the event occurred? And so we walk around in this state of physical tension, which creates an inflammation and an irritation, or an irritation and then an inflammation and then kind of a swelling, and things don't function. And over long term, things break. So as you begin to clean out, and it's not so much, can I fix my knee because my knee hurts? The better question in a way is to say, what has gotten in my way in life? Who told me I can't walk forward, or I'm not good enough to move forward? Or you kind of ask the question, what does a knee do? Or what is whatever part that hurts? And you look for where it is you're told you're not okay, or you can't, or you don't deserve. And quite often, the physical part of the body that is stuck on you can't, you don't deserve, begins to be this electromagnetic field tightens up in that part of the body. And then after a longer period of time, the body part begins to not function as well. So by just getting into this state of "I'm okay" and allowing all of the thoughts that have nothing to do with you, which is the majority of what you're carrying around in your backpack, to basically begin to evaporate away, because that will make more sense as we continue to play. The ability to then simply start to function in "I'm okay" just naturally takes over. It's your natural state of being. And in that space, the body begins to heal itself very effectively in lots of different ways.
Jim, let's see. This question is from Denise. When I attach my grounding cord and activate it, sometimes during the day I notice that the end of my coccyx bone physically aches to the point that it hurts to sit down. Could this be related to my grounding technique? I can add something here. Denise, whenever, and everyone, whenever you're doing energy work and you feel something uncomfortable in your body, whether it's your coccyx or your knee or your big toe, the first place to go is, oh, there's stuck energy there, rather than, oh, this is a problem, I have to go see a doctor right away. Just figure, because you're successfully running your energy, that stuck energy is starting to get knocked loose. And so when you find a discomfort in your body, just spend a little extra time being in neutral, not being worried. Just spend a little extra time with the rose, like we used today. Just brush that area with the rose, collect up whatever color, whatever stuck energy is there, move the rose out, explode it, or use the grounding cord. So my suggestion, Denise, would be, don't go to "there's a problem," but see it instead as a success, and pat yourself on the back and say, okay, this is validation that I'm moving energy, so let's just keep the energy moving.
Yeah, and the other thing you can do is expand the grounding cord. Simply just have a sense of making it wider and allowing that energy to kind of continue to flow down. Roxanne's real clear that gets stuck in that first chakra area. We'll talk about first chakra a little bit next week when we do this, but yeah, open up that grounding cord and kind of relax. It's just like intentionally loosen the muscles in your butt. It sounds funny, just kind of like push your butt open and breathe into it. And quite often you'll find that that energy dissipates.
This is from Riley in North Carolina, who is joining level 2. Since completing the final meditations in level 1, I've had a consistent stream of energy coming from my hands that causes fingertips to sweat. Can this be related to reconnecting to the Sacred Heart in these meditations?
Oh, I hate that sweaty fingertip part. So it's an energy running through the body. One of the things that you might do is open the hand chakras up a little bit more. Hand chakras are kind of fun if you never played this game. Is just sit and run energy through your hands, and your hands start to get tingly, they start to get warm, they might start to get sweaty. But if you look at the center of the palm of your hand, you'll see a white spot. And the white spot is an inch, a half centimeter circular. And you can simply just run more energy through that, open it up, close it down. But in the case of your question, I would simply say, let the energy run, but open the pipes in a manner of speaking. Open the valve so there's more of it can move through, and I suspect you'll find it will help that way.
This question is from Lisa in level 2. Are health problems a result of third dimensional mindset?
Yes, that and the ego also. The rational mind is all about keeping you safe and fitting in. And it kind of does whatever it has to do that. And in the process of that, things like anger, this makes me angry, it takes me out of my good space. So I'm angry that you're taking me out of my good space. But it's gotten in such habits that you create a belief, and then the belief gets validated, and you make it a habit, and then the habit becomes unconscious. And so we've got all these triggers in our space that if X, then I get angry. If Y, then I get resentful. And yet a lot of those triggers are simply not in present time. They're in the past. They have nothing to do with you today. And yet anytime, it's like my dad used to beat me and he always wore a blue shirt. And every time I see a man in a blue shirt, I get really angry and upset. Well, the guy in the blue shirt has nothing to do with you today. I'm responding to my dad 45 years ago and this set of experiences. Is your dad still alive? Is your dad still beating you? No. Does that support you where you are today? No. What if I brought it into present time and I said, does this support me? In fact, the guy over there with the blue shirt is kind of smiling and waving. So why should I hate him? Clear out the picture of the past with the dad in the example, and all of a sudden you'll meet a lot of nice men in blue shirts.
I had a post on one of the Facebook pages about pain, and Mary had a comment about running energy through the pain to help break things up. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
One of the things that happens is often you are in pain, a person. You have a fingernail that broke and it really hurts. And it pulls your attention to it. But somebody comes along and says, hey, Joe, let's go have lunch. And I know this really great place. And all of a sudden you're in conversation with this person. Does your fingernail hurt? No.
Right.
The fingernail has the capacity to hurt when you put attention on it. My finger hurts. I damaged my finger. And it is healing. And in the healing process, it has a pain, what we call pain to it. But in real terms, can I override that? Well, you do it all the time. You change your attention point to something else, and the finger is still there, still healing, that same vibrations running through it that we call pain, but I'm not paying any attention to it, so it's really kind of out of sight, out of mind. In a way, though, if you start to put your attention on something that's painful and begin to run vibrations through it, just simply run the energy through your arms, just pull it down through your hands. Come down through those third, second triad, first triad. Run it into your arm channels. Run it into your hands. You all know how to just project energy, heat out of your hands. That's that space where I think I had you put your hands together and create a ball of energy, and all of a sudden you can make it hot, you can make it dense, you can make it really form-filled. In the same way, just basically run happy through your finger. Now, what happens is you have to get happy if you're going to run happy. So you just start to say, I'm okay, and my finger's healing, and the pain's not an issue, and I'm kind of feeling an ease in my finger. Pull out words like ease and comfort and tingling or softness, or I'm going to make my finger golden, whatever the issue is. And just basically have a sense of running energy right through that point and have a decision that it's getting better. Do that for about 5 minutes, and pretty much everything starts to feel better in that context. Now I'm talking about fingernails or headaches or whatever it may be. If you just broke your arm, the arm is broken, and it's going to take a little longer to fully mend. So, but you can move the pain out of it and just simply allow it to start to heal without that concept of pain. Am I answering your question?
Yeah, I sort of understood what she was saying, and I was playing with it, but I kind of wanted a little more understanding, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a decision. Now, allow yourself to play at it, and don't need it to be perfect. So I'm going to go back to my fingernail hurts, keeping it simple. And basically play at it and decide you're going to make it work, but don't need it to work. Because when you basically create an expectation, then often you create a disappointment along with it. And the disappointment goes, oh, it doesn't work, but if you'd waited another 30 seconds, it would have been fine. But we cut it off before it really sometimes happens. So make it a game. It's like, yeah, this hurts, but I'm just going to play at this. I'm going to see if I can smooth it out and sit there with it for a little while. Generally, you're going to feel better. The finger may still hurt. Play with it a little bit, walk away with it, come back and do it again, and inevitably you start to create a pattern that allows you to remove some of the pain and belief that there's a pain there.
Hi, Yvonne.
Hi. I just wanted to say something again that involves the body. I was going over this week's lesson again today, the 10th ray and the unlimitedness of it, and I was just calmly following what you were saying in the lecture part and the meditation, and then I was listening to Uriel. And what I noticed a few places throughout, but particularly at the end, is that I did not feel any energy with my body, but all of a sudden at places I just felt like I got totally overwhelmed and I would just cry. And particularly at the end where Uriel was talking about the archangels and the ascended masters were there and they were trying to help, I guess, with access to the 10th ray and helping to seat the energy in our consciousness more deeply. And just like somebody would pull a rug out from underneath you, I would just all of a sudden just cry. And it felt good. I wasn't sure why that was happening, and I was wondering if you had any thoughts.
Yeah, I know that place. And a lot of times you begin to just have, as a spiritual being, the part of you that's not seeing what's going on, where the Uriel and others are, they bring in some of these most beautiful configurations of light. They just overwhelm you, and crying is one of the things that comes about. It's just this sense of joy, even though that word may not exactly be the feeling, but numbers of things that happen that just really can take you by surprise. And I've been in that place, many times. It's like really kind of overwhelming. So I would not look for what's wrong with it. I would just enjoy that there's a opening that you're experiencing.
Yeah, thanks. That's what it felt. It felt like a good thing, and
oh yeah.
I wasn't experienced like an inflow or an influx of the energy while it might be happening. I just would all of a sudden just kind of get overwhelmed, like you said.
Yeah. And trust yourself. So you knew it was a pleasant or joyful thing, even though the word for that configuration may not have been that clear. Trust yourself. You know, it's like, this is a good thing. I don't know why it's a good thing, but it's like, yeah, I like this. Good.
Yeah. Thanks.